Good evening and welcome to each and every one of you who's joined us today. This is the first session in the series of sessions called Early Decision Making, the Secret Sauce to Stress Free Admissions. So every alternate Friday, you can look forward to some or the other session from Team Cialfo. On different topics regarding engineering, law, architecture, design, humanities, you name it, and we have it. And the topic for today's session, as you already know, is to unlock the doors of elite design institutions. And to facilitate that, I am joined by four amazing, members of the higher education sector. And I'll just quickly go through one round of introduction, and we'll just deep dive into the panel discussion right after. So, to welcome the first guest, we have Mr. Abhyuday Roy, who's the Associate Director of Outreach and Admissions at Atlas Skilltech University. He is a management professional with a cumulative experience of over 15 years working in India and abroad. Working with people from different level and parts of the world, he has been enriched with, quite a diaspora of knowledge. And he has been a part of the design education fraternity for over a decade now. And in his experience, he's also counseled over 10,000 design aspirants. So, today he's quite equipped to sort of help design enthusiasts with each and every query. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Roy.
Thank you
Moving
so
on,
much, Karen.
thank you. Moving on, we have Miss Shivani Wig, who's the Senior Manager of Educational Partnerships at Pearl Academy, and an educationist by profession with more than 20 years of experience in guiding students in choosing their dream career. She's also worked across verticals of undergrad, postgrad, and executive education for professionals. So we welcome you, Miss Shivani.
Thank you so much, Parul.
Next in line, we have Mr. Himanshu Jain, who's the team leader of outreach and admissions at Indian Institute of Art and Design. Mr. Jain, he's a seasoned professional who harbors a deep-seated passion for education with background in information technology and a decade-long experience across sales, marketing, academic counseling, and with a specialization in design. So very warm welcome to you, Mr. Himanshu. And last but not the least, we have Ms. Ashwini Sakpal, who's the head of counseling and admissions at Ecole Intuit Lab. Ashwini is a seasoned professional, and again, she harbors a deep seated passion for education with a solid decade of industry experience under her belt. She currently holds the esteemed position of head of admissions at Ecole Intuit Lab. It's a highly regarded institution in the domain of design education. I'm sure all of you know that already. So, with humility and dedication, Ashwini continues to thrive positive changes in the field of design education. So, once again, a very warm welcome to the entire panel, and thank you so much for being here on the eve of Dhanteras today. And with that, I think, just to also introduce myself, I am Parul and I'm the specialist education advisor at Cialfo. So, with that, I think we'd love to open the panel. Um, Ayushi, can you stop sharing the screen, please? Thank you. So I think we can just start with getting to know about each and every one of your institutions and where exactly is your university located. So maybe start with Shivani.
Sure. So, talking of Pearl Academy is one of the oldest design colleges in India. We started in 1993, and we are leading institute in design, fashion, business, and media, all of them. So, we have over 40 uniquely designed courses through our campuses in Delhi West, Delhi South, Mumbai, Jaipur, and Bangalore. So, five sessions, five locations.
Okay, that's amazing. Over to you, Abhyuday.
Thanks, Parul. So today I'm representing ISDI because ISDI is the School of Design under Atlas, and ISDI was started off with a unique collaboration with Parsons back in 2013. So this is currently our 10th year, and we are only in Mumbai, and we are in the heart of a city, not unlike many other new age universities which are in the suburban areas of a city. We chose to remain in the heart of this biggest financial capital and probably the design capital of the country, which is Mumbai. And we offer bachelor in design under Atlas Skilltech University with ISDI School of Design, and we have 7 different pathways that the student can take, ranging from fashion to fashion styling, product, interiors, animation and VFX and communication design, and a very unique course which is a strategic design management. I believe we are the only ones offering this unique course in an undergrad level. NID does it, but they do it in master's level. So
Right.
yeah, that's ISDI for you.
Thank you so much, Abhyuday, for that wonderful introduction. Over to you, Ashwini.
Hello everyone. So for me, the name says it at all. We are a French design school. The name is École Intuit Lab. It means a French school of design and creative strategy. We are located in Prabhadevi. We started our first campus in 2000, and Mumbai campus has already completed 13 years. The uniqueness about École Intuit Lab is my founders are designers. So we have communication design is in our DNA, and they worked. My founders worked in 1996 in Mumbai on international brands, and that's the point when they realized that Mumbai has a huge potential, and that's when they launched their first school in Paris. So we are one school with 9 campuses: Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, then two in France, one in Brazil, one in China, and happy to announce that we have opened new campus in Dubai.
Congratulations on that. That's wonderful to know. So I think, some of you slightly briefly touched upon the different kinds of courses that you have. So maybe starting with Abhyuday, can we just get an understanding of what kind of courses do you have under the design domain, especially for our undergrad aspirants?
So, as I suggested, under the School of Design, ISDI, we offer a Bachelor in Design, where the degree comes from Atlas Caltech University. The curriculum that we follow or that we get is from Parsons, the New School, New York. And there are 7 pathways. The first year remains common for all the students. Again, something unique. The student don't need to choose their specialization while they take an entry into the design school, but they can formalize, or they actually formalize their choice of specialization only at the end of first year. Okay, and from second year onwards, they have an option to choose between fashion design, fashion communication and styling, strategic design management, product design, communication design, and animation and VFX. Okay. Um, and interior design. So these are the 7 pathways that they can choose from, and they have an intrinsic involvement from the industry, because every break of year between year one and year two and year two and year three, they always go back to the industry to do different levels of internship. So typically they would here, I mean, they would go in for an observership between year one and year two. They would go in for an apprenticeship between year two and year three, and an internship between year three and year four. Excuse me. And during the fourth year, they also do go in for a live industry project, which is a capstone or a thesis, which is their graduating project. And by the end of their seventh semester, rather in between their seventh semester, when they come back from their intern and capstones, we have over 200 corporates getting down and lining up to recruit them. And that's for other time. We will talk about placements when
Yeah,
we talk about that. Yeah.
sure. Ashwini, what about you?
So, like I said, communication design is in our DNA. We are a niche school where we have limited offerings. We focus on limited students. We have communication design, UI, UX design, and game art and design. And that's the specialization we offer. We also have similar pattern like what Abhidya just said. First year is common where we do foundation, and in year two, students have free mind to change their specialization if they wish to. One of the very unique offering we have is 3+2, which we started from this year. So otherwise, the course schedule is 4 years, 4 years in Mumbai. But this 3+2 will help students to finish their undergrad and postgrad together. So 3 years they study in Mumbai campus, and 2 years they have option to go to any of the campus in France, maybe France, Paris, or Marseille. Fourth year is the fees, somewhere around 14,000 euros. The best part is fifth year is funded by the government of France because we have a unique collaboration. We are a French design school, so fifth year student doesn't have any fees to pay. It is taken care by the government of France. Also, the functioning of the fifth year is that first 3 weeks they study, they work in an agency. That's the internship, and last week of the month they study in the campus, and they earn starting from 1,000 euros as an internship wage they get. Plus, after finishing fifth year, thanks to Mr. Narendra Modi, because earlier it was 2 years extensive visa, work visa. Now they get 5 years extensive work visa. They can stay back, find a full time job, come back, and that way students clear their 5 years education in one go. The reason why we launched this program, because when we did our alumni reunion, only 30% of students have done masters. So our curriculum is so strong, so vast that students don't need to do any masters immediately. So that way they finish 5 years, they focus on their work experience, they work for 7, 8 years, they understand their specialization area, and then they decide if at all there's a need, they go for the masters.
Right. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
an integrated course, that has been launched recently. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about you, Shivani? Can we talk about Pearl Academy and the courses offered?
Yeah, sure. So Pearl Academy offers BDES and MDES courses under four umbrellas. That is fashion. Under fashion, we have fashion design, fashion communication, we have textile design, and we have fashion styling and an image design. Under design, that is the design thing, we have product design. We under communication design, we have four specializations: animation and VFX. We have gaming. Then we have UI UX, right? And then under other than fashion communication, product design, and the BBA courses, which is fashion lifestyle business management and global luxury brand management. Now these are totally unique courses. While a lot of students go in for management under major specializations like marketing, finance, and all, this takes you to the back end of the fashion industry, the fashion lifestyle business course. We're talking about job roles like merchandising and all. And global luxury brand management is also totally unique to Pearl, where we're talking about training students to get into the luxury brand industry, both international as well as domestic, right? While we're talking about these BDES courses, all students across all courses have this option of progressing to international university in the final year, right? But if they choose not to, then also they have a compulsory 1 month exchange program in the final year. Internships are there in the final year as well. And in terms of even getting the degrees from, I mean, our degrees are affiliated under Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, which is an institute of national eminence under Government of India. So a student does not have to do any extra effort to earn that degree. He gets it based on the credit offered by Pearl. So that those are the courses that we offer.
That's great to know, Shivani. And I think we've already started getting a lot of questions in the chat box. So please feel free to, have a look at that. And if you want to answer something while typing your answer, you can also do that. But we would also like to take a lot of these questions as part of the Q&A towards the end of the panel. So having talked about the courses in each of your universities, can we also now talk about the admission process for the same? Like what's the different kind of eligibility criteria and admission process to be able to get an admit into your university. Abhyuday, would you like to go first?
Sure, thanks, Parul. Um, Sadly, our country is obsessed with exams, and you can't do away with the entrance exam in our country. But I believe design school across the world don't have entrance exam, and we are a typicality in India. So yes, we do have an entrance exam. It is called ISDI Challenge. It has three parts to it. Every student goes through all the three parts, and post COVID, we have decided to remain online only and not to go back to a brick and mortar and in-person mode. So once a student applies, so during application, they also do need to require to fill in their statement of purpose in their application form itself. And once they're done with the application, they have an option to do either way. They can either choose to take the design aptitude test, which is an online test with multiple, mainly MCQ questions, under three segments, which is general awareness, analytical thinking, and logical reasoning. And there is a fourth section, which is where they get a picture and they are expected to write a story, narrate a story of 15 sentences. So, in all this online exam, they need to take in 60 minutes. So, either they can do the DAT or they can do the portfolio. Okay, they need to upload 8 to 10 pieces of their best work as their portfolio onto the portal. So each of them have their own application portal that only takes them to take the DAT, do the portfolio, and all of it. And if someone doesn't has a portfolio, they have an option of doing a design project wherein they can select one topic. There are three topics which are given. Do a piece of art and do a write up of around 500 words to describe their creation. And please make a note, everyone. No one is looked down upon if someone is doing a design project and not a portfolio. So it is just made available for students who are coming probably from a science background, have not got into making a portfolio, have not got time. Or there are several instances where we have seen IB students making a portfolio for their board, which they can't really share with any other institution till it has been marked. So they many a times get into making two portfolios, which is again a very troublesome scenario. So many of the times they also choose to do a design project, and they are both marked equally and are looked at with equal poise. So either they can do that first and portfolio later, or portfolio or design project first and then the dat. And once they have done these two, they would be given a schedule for interview. Again, this is also conducted online on over Zoom. Uh, Although we can't avoid calling it an interview, but this is not more like a interaction wherein we try and understand the aptitude, the empathy that the student might have, the kind of assertiveness, awareness, uh, typically the aptitude of the child. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's what we try and understand during an interview or an interaction session. So all the students need to go through all the three segments, and finally we accumulate the scores of all the three sections and then decide on selection.
Okay, okay. And I'm glad that you brought up the topic of IB board and the eligibility and etc. So we'll also deep dive into that eventually. Um, so on the screen, you can see that I'm already showing you the different kinds of courses that are available, in the university in Atlas Skill Tech University. And once you're all on the platform, you can just go ahead and start adding your application for any of the course that you're interested in. So now I think I'd like to hear from Ashwini. Can we talk
Yeah.
about the admission process at your university? Yeah.
Yes. So when we do admission processes, the first skill set, there's a lot of time I get this question, ma'am, how do my portfolio should look and what marks should I get? Is 12th required? IB board required? Which certificate is appropriate? To answer this question, it's very simple. What we look at from each and every student is just a passion. If you have passion, because this design, the studies which you are going to learn with us, it's not part of your K-12 journey. But and to evaluate your passion, we have our own creative intelligence test, which is based on creativity, reasoning, and general knowledge. So once you fill out the application, you have to give the test. It's 1 hour 30 minutes paper. You have to finish it in one go, and then we do your portfolio interview round. A small tip: when you make your portfolio, please upload work which really describes you as a creative person. We don't mind seeing your work as raw as possible, and there is no such type of your work. It could be painting, drawing, sketching, content written, photographs clicked, rangoli made during the Diwali. Any form of creativity which describes you as a creative person can be form of your portfolio, and that raw portfolio can give us a better understanding about yourself. And what we discuss in our portfolio interview is about your creativity, is about your ideation. How do you think? How much expressive you are? Are you an introvert or an extrovert person? So these are the basic discussions which we do based on with the help of your portfolio. And If you don't have any portfolio, just bring your passion in.
Thank you so much, Ashwini, for sharing light on that. Because in my interactions with the students, I've also come across something similar, that students are saying that I don't really have certificates per se, where I have enrolled into competitions and I've showcased my work, etc. But then I'm very passionate and I'm very creative in XYZ field. So in
Yeah.
that case, what do I do? So you've, I think, already answered that question for a lot of our listeners who would be thinking on similar lines. So over to you, Shivani. Can we hear from you about the admission process at your university?
Sure. So Pearl Academy conducts a test, which is either an online and or offline. I mean, both we're going to consider this year. We'll do an offline test for students at our locations, which are these five locations where we are present, and online for the ones who are outside Delhi, Mumbai, Jaipur, Bangalore, right? Locations. The written test would have reasoning questions, okay, questions on English, general awareness, and a design aptitude test where a student is basically supposed to understand and make pictures with the given format, right? I mean, not exactly even make pictures. In fact, he'll have to choose it because that's an MCQ based questions. The second round is portfolio and personal interview. Uh, Now, in the portfolio, a student is free to get a digital portfolio or an offline portfolio. And the entire idea is to basically not access him on his skill, but his inclination towards this design courses. And also the interview, the faculty is not going to judge how smart the student is, but basically, if he is looking for a communication design course, maybe say fashion design course, and we understand that his strength lies in styling instead of a fashion design course, we recommend him accordingly. Because a lot of students at this age, although it is too early to decide for a specialization, and Pearl gives this option of choosing the specialization right after the foundation year, but still at the time of interview, if we feel a student is well suited for some other field, so we suggest him accordingly. So this interview round is basically a no, let me know you kind of a round, and how well you are looking forward to a design career. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Shivani. I think we have enough, basic understanding of different universities that have joined us today, and what are the different kinds of courses that all of you students can apply for. I mean, I'm also sure that we have a lot of parents and counselors with us on this session today. So, there's abundance of information that you have. So, let me quickly ask questions around. Different pathway programs, and whether or not the university or institute, do you even offer student exchange programs or maybe industry integrated programs for UG students? So can we talk about that? Ashwini, would you like to go first here?
Yeah, sure. So the reason why we bought Friend School in Mumbai is the primary reason is to give the industry experience, the international exposure to all the students, so they don't have to leave the country, stay in another country. We have multiple options. I'll start with 3+2, which I spoke about. So 3+2 is 3 is in Mumbai and 2 years in France. Then we have 1 semester exchange in any of the campus, be it domestic or international. So student in third year, sixth semester, they have option to spend the entire semester in any of the campus. If that's also too much, then we have 15 days field trip. So that field, it's not a picnic, it's a field trip. So you stay 7 days in Paris, 7 days in Marseille. There's a dedicated workshop, and you spend your 15 days in France. With this, we also have International Faculty Week, where we have faculties coming down from the different parts of globe. So last year we had faculties come down from Netherlands, Switzerland, and France. So every year we make sure that we touch base each and every country, because design is all about behavioral understanding, different food, what you talk, what you observe, all about exploring. So that is also provided along with international workshop week. We also have international master classes. So those master classes are conducted online, and again, different parts of different faculties do participate in these master classes, and they take part of our curriculum. So then that way students get enough of international exposure, by not leaving India, by being close to their parents, being in their home country. and financially also it is less, it is much more, they have a lot of breather, because once you leave country and stay in some other country, there's a huge expense which you have to occur.
Correct. Yeah.
So
Thanks a lot, Ashwini, for sharing that with us. Shivani, can we talk about Pearl Academy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, the strength of Pearl lies in the industry integration and the kind of tie ups that we have. So, when I say international exposure, also, and first I'll talk about our industry tie ups. Pearl has a very strong industry tie up when we have a tie up with FDCI, Fashion Design Council of India, Association of Designers of India, EMA, and the others like Adobe and all. This kind of a tie-up helps us to get the best of the designers, fashion designers in the classroom. Not only our Indian counterparts, but also international faculties. So when we talk about international exposure, we're talking about, yes, master classes where we have international people coming in to take up the sessions. In fact, our dean himself is from Italy, so the kind of exposure he gets is totally different. And then for the international progression, we have tie up with five universities from now. For now, we have four in UK, Derby University. We have Manchester Metropolitan. We have Torrance University in Australia and University of Creative Arts. So students can choose to progress in their final year to any of the industry. I mean, to these international universities. If not, as I'd spoken earlier, there are international exchange programs in the third year as well as in the fourth year. Fourth year is a compulsory exchange program of 1 month for all our students. So, international tie up is something which will really wow for each and every student of ours. That is something which is a mandate that he has to go and he has to go. And he goes at a very nominal expense. Very, very nominal expense. We won't charge him for any of the tuition fees or something, but yes, to and fro and all he does take care of.
Right, right. So just
Yeah.
the basic kind of expenditure.
Yes, this is the basic kind of an expenditure. Leave aside that, our students participate in a lot of these international fairs like Paris Fashion Week, London Fashion Week. Those are also international exposures given by Pearl Academy to our students, and those are the students. Those are specifically handpicked by our students. Last year, 24 students went to Paris Fashion Week and London Fashion Week. There were about 32 students. So those are purely handpicked by our faculties, and they also get this international exposure. Every year we do that for our students. And plus FDCI, at the FDCI every year, our graduating students present their work in front of Mr. Sunil Sethi and others who are there present to see the work of our students, the strength of our students. So this is the kind of exposure that Pearl brings in to for the students.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for that insight. I also just want to reiterate this for our students that I'm seeing a lot of interesting questions in the chat box over here in the Q&A section. As and when our panelists can answer these questions, please go ahead do so. I see that some of you have already started doing that, but for those of you who still have unanswered questions, we would be taking all of these questions up in the end, towards the end of the panel discussion. So yes, Abhyuday, over to you.
Thank you so much. Parul, I already spoke a little bit about the kind of industry exposure that every child at uh, our design school get. And they get exposed to, and by the time they graduate, more or less, they already have around a year's industry exposure. Okay,
Mhm.
and that was the precise reason why we chose to remain in the hub of Mumbai called Bandra Kurla complex, right? uh, Anyone who is a little bit aware of Bombay, they would understand BKC or Bandra Kurla is known to be the corporate hub of this country, and all where the headquarters of the biggest uh, companies are there, and that brings in a lot of advantage for us. So every Wednesday we have a stalwart series wherein we have a leader from every prominent corporate coming down and talking to children at campus. So eventually, students would end up meeting more corporate leaders than probably we would have met in our lifetime, right? And having said so, for on the exchange end, We have an active collaboration or MOU with around 32 universities spread across Europe, Australia, and some in Canada as well. And not only these, there are several others as well where students go in for exchange program. We have a separate wing which works on this. We have an international wing which works on this. Students usually go in for 6 months to a year's exchange between either a year two or a year three. They would never go in for an exchange in the final year because that's more of industry interaction and their final projects and placements. So they are having an option to go in for an exchange during the second and third year. When I say a semester exchange, they would typically only take care of their travel and residence or living expenses in the exchange university, and no tuitions needs to be paid. Uh, Having said so, I mean there are more opportunities than student eventually pick up, and I believe they are increasingly taking up more and more opportunities as they are coming in. Uh, on the end of so are we talking about placements now, or so I'm sorry, so
You please feel free to add.
okay, talking about placements, the kind of companies that any student can think of, whether it's an Infosys or an Adobe or an Accenture or a Deloitte or a TCS. I mean, this was a surprise to me. So we had three of the big four coming in, okay, and the one left was BCG, and surprisingly, BCG also visited this year. Okay. So any corporate that you can think of which dwells in this country, they come down to campus for hiring. And I'll not talk about the international placements too much because honestly, undergrad placements internationally are far and few. Okay, and although there are quite a few that happen every year, but we do not take them into consideration while talking about average salaries or highest salaries because that would typically draw the average and median salaries getting skewed. So I believe the biggest placement that we had last year was a student joining the coveted Sundar Pichai company, and I hope students get when I'm saying. So yeah, so that was a most coveted placement that happened, and the, let's not quote the figure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Indian highest was last year, which was 25 lakhs with Samsung, with a promise of a 25% increase in the next year. So that was the highest last year. Average placement for our children goes around 11 and a half to 12 and a half. Uh, but of course there are also specializations where students get an average of around 8.5. When I'm talking about 8.5, I'm typically talking about the specializations of, please again, not demeaning anyone, but students who go on to do fashion and interiors. uh, the industry is such their average remains at around 8.5 because these are primarily design houses, and not too many corporates work in this sector, barring a few retail giants and people like Arvind Mills and Aditya Birlas of the world. Most of them are retail giants, and then again there are design houses. So whether it's a Sabyasachi or a Masaba or a Anita Dongre, they have typical slabs which they would never flout. So the average for these segments are a bit uh, lower. Okay, and same goes for interiors because they go on to work primarily for very established architecture houses. But for those who go on to work with realty giants like JSW and Godrej and others, they get a little higher salary. So that again, up and down, it brings about the average at around 8.5. Yeah.
That's great to know, Abhyuday. So I think before we start taking student questions, one last thing I want to ask all my panelists is, what are the new fields or new career opportunities that are coming up under the domain of design? So, Ashwini, would you like to maybe talk about that?
Yeah, so we grabbed that opportunity 2 years back when the COVID got hit, and we launched our typical product design program into a digital product design, that is UI UX. UI UX is very trending career right now happening in India, and it's just more awareness needs to be spread out, because parents especially, they are not aware about gaming and UI UX. It's the other way around, that the students are interested, but since many years parents decide our careers. So, even if a child is explaining it to his parents that, I want to make career in gaming, but then there are a lot of facts and figures which we have to give it to them. Unfortunately, it's now booming in India. So before COVID, we were only focusing on AAA games, but our students did amazing job, because in COVID, even your kindergarten, pre-primary school curriculum came in the form of games. There were a lot of stressful applications got launched for the medical reason. There are a lot of memory games got launched. So this industry has got a good response in times of COVID. Now, if you ask me personally, I would still would not like to go back to the traditional way of working, be it taking my interviews offline or taking my test on campus. No, it saves my time, it saves my energy. I will do it online. Similarly, all the businesses, they are coming online. There are a lot of applications which are getting launched. There are a lot of startups coming in the industry, and for all this, your UI UX plays very important role, and that's the course we have. This is the third year we are launching. We are running this program. In my first year, I struggled a lot to get admissions, but now second and third year, it's a easy selling cake. But still, a lot of awareness needs to be, given to the parents, and I think so. Schools are the primarily is the place where parents and students go for career counseling. So right now, with students and parents, my whole agenda is to reach out to schools where I can spread this awareness.
I think you're very right talking about awareness. That's very, very important, especially in a lot of like non-traditional domains in our country. So yeah, so I hope all the students are taking note of that. And Ashwini, there are a few questions for you in the Q&A. Please go ahead and answer that for our
Okay, so
students.
I can
Yeah.
see one question. What if the students don't want to go to France? That's absolutely okay. Like I said, the C plus 2 is completely optional. There will be another round of interview in year 3, and only few handpicked students will get an opportunity. So if you want to stay in Mumbai, that's absolutely okay. You can go for international exchange, you can go for field trip, or that's the reason. It's a French school, so you're in the Mumbai, but there's no difference between. The only difference is the language, or just the language. Even the methodology, curriculum, course content, course hours, everything is as similar as it is conducted in France. So you can stay in Mumbai. That's not a problem.
Thank you so much, Ashwini, for answering that. Shivani, can we hear from you about the new field and the new career options in the field of design?
Yes, I like to add to what Ashwini has said, that communication design is one such field which is upcoming in India. Not many students really understand what communication design is. It has four specializations. When we say, we have game design, we have animation and VFX, we have UI UX, and then we have graphic design. Now, while this field is gathering a lot of interest even in the software sector, right? Game design, when you see, you will find new trends happening. Game designers are also, sorry, interior designers are being hired by game designing companies, where they have to make layouts and all. They hire interior designers. So this field, when we say communication design, is one thing which I see very promising coming in future. Nonetheless, styling is also doing really well. And when we say styling, fashion styling, it is not just fashion styling, although we name the course as fashion styling. But fashion styling is a lot more than, not only just fashion, but you say you learn styling for interiors, you learn styling for events. So styling, also styling for sets also. So while we're talking about TV sets, event sets and all, that is also part of styling. So these two fields, I think, are going to do really very well in future. the way our industry is looking up, the way the students are being hired by these software organizations also. While software companies earlier used to hire software engineers, they've also started hiring UI UX designers. Now students are really confused. A lot of students are confused what is UI UX design. So it's like any application that you click on your mobile, any interaction is UI UX design on mobile, on computer, whatever. So this is just a one liner. It holds a lot of things. I can't go on telling about it. But what I'm trying to say is these two fields I feel has the future. And students can really, and these are not conventional also. You don't see, I mean, अब आज तक फैशन को हम जब बात करते थे तो हम फैशन डिजाइन ही लोग समझते हैं, और फैशन डिजाइन कुछ साल पहले तक हमारे पेरेंट्स यही तो कहते थे, बुटीक ही तो खोलोगे, बट इज इट फैशन डिजाइन नाउ? दैट नो, नॉट एग्जैक्टली. So things have really moved forward. But when you see the current trends, yes, communication design and fashion styling is coming up in a big way. Nonetheless, global luxury brands, the way Indians have started vying for these brands, you'll see market growth in that sector as well. So some 2 3 fields I feel are going to do well and are upcoming.
Yeah. I think I also would want to add to what you said regarding fashion designing and its likes. So many times, like us when we were kids, we used to have a certain idea, a certain picture about every course, that okay, this, if you do this, this is what you go on to become. But when you actually start reading about it, when you actually start talking to people who are experts in the field, who've been there, who've done that, then you actually get to know that, oh, it's not just about this, that there's actually so much more in the field that you can explore from. So yes, Abhyuday, over to you. New
Thank you
fields,
so
new career
much.
opportunities. Yeah.
Uh, I believe, in continuation to what Ashwini and Shivani said, UX UI, I believe, has started coming into play since last half a decade. Okay. And we started incorporating it first in the communication design program and then subsequently into other programs. Uh, Currently, UI UX is a part of three curriculums, which is communication design, product design, and strategic design management. Now, although these three are very different programs, but UI UX is also taught in these three. And the treatment or the kind of UI UX taught in these three are again very different. Okay. So, we are not designers, right? I'm not a designer, but during COVID, or rather just after COVID, I was interviewing and doing a session with a person called Hari Tulsian. Okay. He is the director partner for design department at Infosys. Okay. And at one note, I mean, although all the students at Infosys has been taking from us don't directly report to him, but there's a streamlined reporting, dotted line reporting, and he started praising all the students that they have hired from the strategic design management stream. Now, after, I mean, talking a lot about how these students are and the kind of work that they have been doing, and we started investigating, and what we found out is, and typically, when students study UI UX in communication design, they more look into the app based UI UX end of softwares or the applications. When students are studying UI UX in product design, they are looking at Internet of Things, smart products, and their interfaces. Okay. And when they are doing it in strategic design management, they are looking into streamlining business processes. Okay. So the implication of UI UX is very different. And the best part is, students today, I mean, when you go and meet students in school, oddly there I've met quite a few where students come and ask, like, you are in a cake shop and they're coming and asking which is the hottest selling course in your design school. So I said, okay, I'm not a cake shop, but yeah, UI UX is something that has caught the world. But I believe for us the most growth that we have seen, apart from, because as I said, UI UX has become an integral part for the last half a decade of all these three courses. But the unique one was strategic design management, because the country has been producing designers since 1960s, NID when it's first started. but it has never looked into producing design managers. Okay, and strategic design managers or strategic design management is a curriculum that we teach, is where we produce design managers. So they typically become the ones being the account manager between the designing company and the client, right? So they are the account managers and they are managing, I mean, various things. Okay, um, so an Accenture is taking an SDM student, or a Deloitte is, or an Infosys is, and they are looking at managing the interfaces between the organization and the client. So they are the design managers, and the requirement of design managers today is not only with Accenture or Deloitte, but also in an Anita Dongre or even a Sabyasachi, because they are also growing in a manner where their client interfaces and their understanding of requirement of the client and how to deliver the products has also changed. And that is where these students come in really, really well. And yeah, that's our fastest growing segment.
Thanks a lot, Abhay, there for that insight. Now, I think we do not have a lot of time to continue the panel, even though I want to, because it's just so interesting to hear from the industry experts. But I do see a lot of interesting questions in the Q&A. So now I'll just open the section for student question and answers. So let me just see. Okay. So we have one question over here that a student submitted earlier. Does visual art okay, so is visual art a part of design domain, and how is it different from other courses like fashion, textile, etc.? Anyone would like to volunteer to answer that?
Uh, may I?
Yeah, sure, sure. Ashwini, go ahead.
So since we don't have fashion and we only have communication design, so that's the reason I chose to answer. So communication design, it's purely graphic designing, and whatever communication you see around, even on your screen, that's the communication design. Now it is merged into a digital design, so digital art. So be it COVID, not COVID, or any other crisis comes, this graphic communication design will never go off the market, because no product can sustain without a proper communication. If you want to make a product, if there's a product designer, the product designer will need a communication designer, because he is expert to make the product. But there are some things which we just see and we buy. We don't even know the uses, the price point, even if whether that product is going to be useful for me. I am not bothered about that, but I really like the communication, the packaging of the product so much that I just bought the product. So communication design is something, after UI UX, I mean the graphic designing, is something which will never go off the market.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ashwini. Shivani, I have a quick question for you. So, a lot of students I see in the chat box are asking about courses that they can do post grade 10 and grade 11. So, if you have any idea about this field, I think that would really help our audience.
Look, there are some short-term courses, though I would not have an idea about the institutes offering, but there are, yes, 3 months to 6 months short-term courses available in the market. Though Pearl won't be able to help because we have 11-month certificate course right after only after class 12 that a student can pursue. So I'll be sorry in terms of those institutes. I'm quite clueless about. Yeah.
I think that's still okay because Pearl is anyway offering a lot of courses post grade
Hmm.
12. So, if you are somebody who can wait till then because you obviously have to study for your board exams, I'd say that would be a great time for you to look at these courses.
So
Uh,
under one of our, I'm sorry, under one of our, uh, shit.
Okay,
yeah,
so can I add to what Shivani said?
yeah, sure.
Uh, if any student who has a phenomenal background, who has an extremely wonderful hand skill, who is interested in design, who is there's art in his heart, please do not go for any short-term program. That's a humble request, because first 50% your portfolio, your passion is God gift. That is something you only have. If tomorrow if someone tells me Now, my brother, I have a family background in design, but someone tells me that look, everyone is doing so good, you also do design. I might do that short term course, but my heart is not there.
Hmm.
You are at a very young age. Please do a proper 4 year graduation studies in design. What happens when you do a short term program? You progress into one particular skill. Let's say if there is a course on video editing, that's a 3 months program. That 3 month program will also be able to give you a job placement with a starting salary of 20 25,000. But look for a long term. That 3 months, instead of those spending those 3 months there, do a lot of hand skills, do a lot of sketching, drawing, whatever you see around, and that will become your portfolio. When you do a short term course, you restrict yourself. Short term is suitable for working professional who now doesn't have time. You guys have a lot of time. You have 4 5 years in your hand, so don't block your time with these short term programs. Please do a proper 4 year program. When you come at our level and when you think now we don't have time, but if there's some passion left in our heart, okay, I might spend 3 hours on a weekend to do a short term course. But
Yes.
again, and it's a because students, then what they do 3 months 6 months program and they think that they're the experts. But no, if you have passion, please do a full time 4 year program. And later stage, when you want to upgrade yourself, that time you can think about these short term courses. When you
So
have time, please utilize it.
yeah, at the initial stages, I think it's more about honing your skills, your existing skills, and learning new skills if possible. So, 1 second. Okay, so we have a question on the screen. So, do these universities require UCEED? Uh, Abhyuday, would you want to take that up?
Siddharth, sadly, this as I said earlier, this country is obsessed with entrance exams, and I believe all of us have our own entrance processes. At least for Atlas, I can commend. We don't really look into scores of any other entrance exam. You have to go through the ISDI challenge, which is our own entrance test, and once you're selected, you get an offer. I mean, if there's a selection, but yeah, that's how it is. But there would be design institutions in this country who would take uh, scores of UC or any other tests that are available by national bodies. Okay, so yeah, that's that.
Thanks, Abhyuday. What about you, Shivani?
No, I'm sorry. We don't accept NIFT, NID, or UC scores. Pearl only entertains its own entrance exam, which will happen in the month of January.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel that all of the universities on the panel today, they have their own entrance test. So that's that. And just looking at the number of questions we have, I feel like a follow up session is something that would be required to today's session. But let's move on to the next question now. So, what is an animation course, and which is the most major helpful one? Um, who would like to volunteer to answer that question? Shivani, would you want to go
Sure,
ahead?
but I'm unable to understand the question. Which is the major helpful one? I mean,
Uh,
what is the question about? Because animation course, basically a student learns to understand animation through and make an animation through a lot of softwares, through traditional methods, right? And he has to be creative enough to understand and make sketches, characters, and a lot of things. But I'm unable to understand the second part of the question, that what is the major helpful one. Summer, if you are around, if you could just type your
yeah.
question in details, I'm unable to understand this.
The next question that we have is: Are portfolios assessed in the admissions criteria? If so, what do the institutions look at in the portfolio? Um, Ashwini, can you take
Yeah.
that up? Yeah.
So, like I said, we would like to see raw side of your portfolio. So it could be 8 to 10 art pieces, sketching, drawing, painting, content written, photographs taken, any form of creativity which describes you as a creative person. And first, you need to finish our test, and then we do the portfolio assessment.
All right. Thank you so much. This is Siddharth asking: Could each institution talk about their product design program if they offer it? And he would also like to know about the entry requirements and placements for the course. Okay, so that for the entry requirements, if you log into the platform Cialfo, all of the entry requirements are given out over there. But we would love to hear from our panelists about the product design program if they offer it.
So do I start,
Yeah,
Bhavik?
please, Shona. Yeah.
So, look, Pearl has been offering product design from last 4 years now. Last year, we focused more on accessory design, lifestyle and accessory design as far as product is concerned. But this year, with a revamped course curriculum, we are launching product design, which will be more focused on industrial design, right? And digitalization in industrial design. Entry requirements is just for a, for a 12th pass, it has to be any subjects that you can choose to go for product design course, nothing in specific, but with a minimum percentage requirement of 50%. At a postgrad level, again, there is no such requirement that at an undergrad you should have followed up or you must have completed any design course pertaining to product, but you can, yes, directly go for an product design course as well.
Oh.
So it is more towards industrial design
Mm-hmm.
and digitalization. And yeah, you know, product again happens to be very vast altogether. So while lifestyle accessory design, jewelry are, these are all a part of the product itself. But yeah, when you're talking about product per se, if you're going to focus specifically on accessory, no, it is more inclined towards industrial design, human centric industrial design.
We've already covered this one in a way. Kushbu, can we move on to the
I
next?
would like to add, sorry, on the product
Sure.
design front. I mean, ISDI has been offering product design since its inception, and for us, product has typically remained product which can be treated as industrial product design as well. Students progress from doing the very regular 3D product, then moving to furnitures, and then eventually moving into a little more complicated electronics and products, and then finally moving into smart products today. So they gradually move on from year two to year three to year four, and there are some awesome innovations that has come in our product design department, and we can proudly say probably we are the second university or an institution in this country after an NID to have filed in for over 26 patents, primarily from the product design department, out of which 16 have already received patents. And there are several students who have gone in and incubated their own companies. One of them is also invested by Philips itself. Okay,
Oh, wow.
so yeah, I mean, it's awesome that the kind of things students in the product design department at ISDI do.
Truly, truly. I hope the students are taking note of such, wonderful insights from our experts. Ashwini, we have a question for you. So
Yeah.
Pavan Bora asks that he wants to learn graphic design in Equal Intuit Lab. So what programmers are there for 10th graders like me after graduation?
So yeah, unfortunately, we take admissions only after 12th. We used to take after 10th, but after a lot of researching, brainstorming, students still needs to, they're still not that mature when it comes to 12th and 10th. They are still in the schooling area, and that's why we stopped taking admission after 10. But Pavan, for you, I have something very exciting which we do it every month. So we have a free workshop on every month, last Saturday of the month. So this month, 25th of November, we have a workshop on how to craft a creative portfolio. This is a absolutely free and a certified workshops. It starts at 11. It's a 3-hour workshop on our campus. So please do visit for this workshop. And we do a lot of series of workshops. So by the time you reach 12, I think so you will have a wonderful portfolio ready with our workshops. And then after 12th, you can come to us for a graphic design program. We have a visual communication course, 4-year program for graphic designing.
Awesome, awesome. I think Pavan already got a plan from the session. So thank you so much, Ashwini, for that. We have Suzanne and Sari asking, can I start applying by next week? And when is the last day for applying for all of the design universities? Um,
I think
again, Yeah.
So I'll go off because I believe ISDI is the first one in the country to start off with a cycle, and the early cycles are already closed. The second one is having a last date of completing your application, your DAT, and portfolio by 4th of December. Between 6th and of December to 6th of January is when you would have your interviews. So that's the cycle two. And as we proceed, the number of seats for each cycle would get decreasing because the majority of applications have already come in during our early cycle, which closed on 31st of October.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Abhyuday. What about you, Shivani?
Sure. We have our first cycle coming on the 27th and the 28th of January. And the last date for application is 23rd of January for the students. The admit card will all be published by 24th, and the offline there'll be interviews. It will be followed, which will be totally offline, where students are there at our locations, and for others it will happen online. In that case, so that's the process.
So students, please keep on making notes. This is some very very important information that otherwise is very difficult to find. Ashwini, what about equal?
So for us, the last day to apply is 25th November. Ideally, it's 24th November, Friday. Because there's an exciting waiver which we give every year, so which is valid only till 31st of December. So for that, 25th November is the last day to finish your application. And with the waiver which we have, my 80% of my admissions happens before 31st of December. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ashwini. We have a few more questions our way. So Siddharth asks, do any of the universities offer minors with their courses?
So, do I answer? Huh?
Sure, sure. Please go ahead, Shivani.
So at Pearl, a student has an option of pursuing a 6 months a semester with any of the other departments. So, for example, if he's doing a fashion design course, he's free to choose to do a semester with the communication design department, product department, fashion communication, or fashion business course as well. I mean, business courses as well. So, not exactly majors plus minors, but they can certainly pursue a 6 months semester with any of the departments at Pearl.
Okay, okay. So that is,
Along with that's
yeah,
along with their own department. I mean, they can't say that
correct.
6 months if I'm doing this and
Yeah.
I won't do my own course. They have to pursue both of them at the same time.
Okay. So in addition to the course that they've enrolled for, they can go ahead and take an extra,
Yes,
course
module
over
there.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. The next one is, do the different locations in Pearl have different qualifications for a specific course? If so, which Pearl campus should I look at if I'm considering a product design course?
So Siddharth, we are offering product design course only from our Delhi West campus and Mumbai campus. We aren't offering product design across all campuses, and there is no specific qualification requirement for any specific. It's the same across all campuses. That is, you need to have minimum 50% in your class 12th, and you should pursue good. I mean, you should perform well in your written test along with your interview and the portfolio round. So that's about it. Otherwise, product design is only offered at our Delhi West campus and Mumbai campus.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Shivani. Uh, oh wow, that's an interesting question. Will any of the faculty members be available in the Diwali break? Because I want to visit the campuses. So that's a very interesting and tricky question. So, do you think that our friend here can actually go and meet any of the faculty members in your campuses during the Diwali break?
Roxanne, for us, the faculties are on leave till 18th. Okay, the counseling team or the admissions team would be available from 15th onwards. So you are most welcome to come and visit Atlas or SD post 15th between 10 to 3. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and what about Shivani, Ashwini? Can Rakshan come down to your campus? Maybe
So,
Uh,
immediately
so
after the Diwali break?
yeah, so we are a French school, but we do take Indian festivals very seriously. Everyone needs a break. And same like what Abhyuday mentioned, we are on break till 15th of November. And from 16th, you can walk into our campus anytime between 10 to 5.
Okay. And Shivani,
uh,
similar.
I, Yeah, similar, but we have an extended break. In fact, all of us are joining back on the 20th. Be it be our
Oh wow.
faculty or or ourselves, we are all joining on the 20th. That's something else that, if need be, we are do traveling because of business reasons and all during this break. But actually, at the campus, we'll be available from the 20th of November. We
November.
have
Yeah.
one full week break.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
That's amazing. So, okay. Another question we have from Gul. I'm very confused. I have a lot of options under fashion. I don't know which one should I go for. And I'm now looking for a course which will help me in my career. Can I get some help and suggestions, please? Uh, I think for this question, Gul, it would be better if one of our, experts, our in-house Cialfo expert, gets in touch with you and helps you through the initial round of counseling, just so you're able to understand which field, or which domain of fashion you're actually interested in. Does that sound good to you? Can I get a yes or a no in the chat box, please? And in the meantime, okay, I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gul. I have a question from Khushi as well. She wants to know that do these colleges look at grade 12 marks? And if yes, what's the percentage that is looked at? So for all of such, entry level questions, entry requirements, eligibility criteria, I would say that once you're on Cialfo, remember I was just showing you how you can go ahead and look at different courses. So on that same page you have all of these things listed out very clearly, and all of the information on the platform is absolutely updated, so you can go ahead, rely on that. And if you still have any question, you can always get in touch with us. So is that the last question that we have for the day? Okay, we have one more question from Amit. Can someone suggest some courses in 11th standard for animation to help me with my career? I think it's pretty much the same kind of response that you would gather from our panelist over here, because this is something we just discussed. And what are the requirements of Bachelor of Design in Game Animation and VFX for CBSE students? Okay, so this is a very specific CBSE related question. Who would want to go for that?
So,
Um,
yeah, please, Abhyuday, please.
yeah, sure. Tanush, please understand for all of us, for Indian boards, I'm typically connoting for all of us because for from Indian boards, the requirement is 50% and above. If I'm not wrong, I'm commenting for everyone. And then again, you need to have a selection through our entrance process. Okay, that's one. Two, for being getting into animation, I'll be very specific. You need to have great sketching and drawing skills. Okay, because that's the base requirement. I mean, although this is judged during the entrance process, but I would suggest if you have such skills, then only look at doing getting into animation as a designer. Otherwise you would end up becoming a software driven animator who would be producing software made animations. Okay, that's one. Two, for Parul, I'm taking the opportunity to talk about other boards as well. For
Please.
IB board, the entry requirement is 3 HL and 2 SL and 24 grade points. Okay, so that's a entry requirement or a passing requirement from boards to get an entry into a university in this country, because that's what EIU suggests. For Cambridge board, if there is anyone, we can talk about that as well.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Abhay. There. So we have covered quite a few questions, and we are down to the last two now. So Khushi is asking, what if I take up a course and then after the first year I decide that I don't want that course? So is there room for change and exploration within different courses?
So,
Absolutely.
Kushi, for ISDI, you don't need to pick any course. And during the first year, if you go into fill in the application form, you would find 8 options. Apart from the 7 specializations, which you can choose, you would also get an option of selecting an undecided. Okay, that's one. Two, per se, even if you have selected a product design or a communication or a fashion, you would not be stamped to that or allocated to that specialization before the end of first year. So your final choice you would make only at the end of first year. Okay, and it is open, and there is no restrictions that a student has in choosing their specialization at the end of first year. Okay, so you have all the time of first year and explore, meet your faculties, meet your seniors. There'll be several sessions that you'd get from industry experts and the HODs of different departments to decide upon your specialization.
Right. I think Kushi also wants to know about the Cambridge board entry requirements. So, can we have Ashwini, Shivani cover that up, please?
So for me, like I said, yeah. So for me, when we evaluate students, we generally don't see any background, academic background, because I'll mention it again. Whatever studies you're going to study with us is not part of your K-12 journey. So it's just a handful of sketching, drawing, and 50% passing is what required.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashwini. Do we have any more questions that you want the panel to look at? Okay, okay. I think this was the last question for the day. So thank you so much to all the panelists, for sparing time on the first day of, the start of the festive season. So thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you to all the students, all the parents and counselors, and everyone else, who's joined us today. So please make sure that, you're always on the lookout every second, every alternate Friday for more sessions, which is basically a part of the series called Early Decision Making. And, if you want to get real time expert guidance from academic leaders and, just sort of master the nuances of documenting or crafting very, very compelling applications. So please, don't forget to register with our air meet, and we would see you very soon. Thank you so much to all the guests. Thank you, and
Thank
wish you
you,
all a very
Parul.
happy New Year's. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Parul. Wishing everyone a very happy Diwali.
Very happy Diwali to everyone. Thank you so much, Parul, for hosting us today.
Most
Thank you
welcome.
so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.